Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right? You know who said, you know?
Sounds rough, man.
Well, it's just amazing how many people on the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala, too.
Yeah, seriously, it's like insane.
Publicly, openly, like all in.
Yes. It's like J-Lo, like was like his ex-girlfriend, and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
Now I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, you know, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh.
Okay, Joe Rogan, Terrence Howard, and Katt Williams just dropped some explosive claims tied to Diddy's situation. Even Elon Musk has chimed in, throwing shade at white celebrities caught up in this chaos who are reportedly trying to skip the country. Let's get one thing straight before we dive deeper. Everything here is based on speculation, whispers from sources close to the situation, and what's circulating online. Fresh reports from the prison where Diddy's being held suggest he might be ready to turn on others to save himself. According to Joe Rogan, Terrence, and Katt, some big names could be implicated in whatever Diddy's about to spill. One name that caught everyone off guard? Steve Harvey. Word online, backed by hints from Katt, is that as soon as Steve heard about Diddy's indictment, he bolted out of the country. He didn't just leave, he scrubbed his socials of anything Diddy related, even deleting a 2017 tweet where he called Diddy a brother doing good for these kids. That sentiment's not aging well. Things get murkier. Back in the day, Steve seemed unbothered, vacationing in Italy with Diddy and Lori Harvey, who was dating Diddy at the time after breaking things off with Diddy's son Justin. Messy, but what really raised eyebrows was a photo of Lori sporting white nail polish. Sounds trivial, but if you've followed the Diddy case, that detail's chilling. In her lawsuit, Cassie claimed Diddy forced all the women around him to wear white nails. Why? During his freak-offs, the contrast stood out against the skin of his black ex-workers, all for his disturbing recordings. Young Miami had white nails too. So did Diddy's mom. Now people are asking, did Steve really not know? Or was he cozying up to Diddy for Hollywood clout? At the time, Diddy was a billionaire, Revolt TV's CEO, with ties to major producers. If Diddy talks, the streets say we might finally learn why Steve vanished so fast. Then there's Meek Mill. Since Diddy's arrest hit, Meek's been unusually silent. Odd for someone with a history with Diddy. That old video of Meek in the pool with Diddy calling him daddy and saying, "Hey, what's up, King's son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you." Doesn't feel like a joke anymore. It's aged terribly.
King's son. Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
When Diddy's case was peaking and names were dropping in lawsuits, Meek jetted to Africa, posting cryptic tweets. One even offered $100K to anyone who could figure out who's linking him to Diddy. The internet's not buying it, saying Meek's just in damage control mode, possibly caught on footage the feds have. If that's true, it's only a matter of time before the case exposes everything. For now, folks say he's acting clueless, but it's not convincing anyone. Usher's in the mix too, and he's reportedly sweating. He's been tied to Diddy since he was a kid, part of what they called Diddy's flavor camp at just 13. Now, rumors swirl that Diddy put Usher in some dark situations. Remember what Diddy's ex-bodyguard Gene Deal said?
If you don't mind me asking, because I know the topic is sensitive, what happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executive from the industry back in Harlem. You know, I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. And I'm not going to speak on their name. They doing programs and everything like that, and they may be doing something, they may speak on it themselves. But I heard it from some music executives.
Where did you hear it?
Bro, you know how people be talking and we was around some people, something like that, and then some people might say, yo, I don't F with that dude. And at the time, I didn't even know who the F Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when somebody say, yo, man, I don't F with them, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent him to the hospital? Man, Nigga was bleeding from the, and that's what was said. But I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you hear it, and that's what happened. So, and just to hear this, and this new thing where they saying that they got kids coming forward and said that he did that, man, that shit is crazy. And like I just said, you know, that's just something that I heard.
Then there's that old Kevin Hart interview where Diddy jokes about waking up in bed with a young Usher.
My brother right here from day one, we used to wake up and, damn, pause, but like just back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes, you know what I'm saying, before pause was invented.
People laughed then, but with everything surfacing, it's no joke now. If Usher's caught up in this, he better have his lawyers on standby. Jay-Z's name keeps popping up too. He and Diddy go way back. Business, parties, everything. Things get dicey with a woman named Kathy White, allegedly Jay's mistress who passed away after getting pregnant by him. Rumors have always swirled, but now some say Diddy might have dirt, maybe even tapes. That's not all. A few months back, a lawsuit accused both Diddy and Jay-Z of sexual assault at a high-profile party after the 2000 VMAs in NY. The accuser's story fell apart in court. Her dad didn't recall picking her up, and Benji Madden, who she claimed was there, wasn't even in New York. The judge tossed the case, but the damage was done. Jaguar Wright didn't hold back, saying, "I have 3 right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well."
I have 3 right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about.
And who can forget that awkward Diddy birthday video with French Montana, both slathered in baby oil, singing,
"Happy birthday, dear French. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. It's a special birthday for both of us."
Knowing the feds found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil at Diddy's place, that moment hits different now. Jennifer Lopez got dragged in too. During that club shooting with Shine, sources claim JLO knew the real story, allegedly carrying the gun in her purse and lying to the grand jury. Natanya Rubin, injured that night, said,
"The irony is, there was a grand jury. We all had to go and speak at the grand jury. J-Lo testified at the grand jury, as did many other people. It needs to be reopened, because if that is in fact the case, she carried the gun in and she lied to the grand jury. It needs to be reopened."
Natanya is pushing to reopen the case, even offering to have fragments removed from her face to prove J-Lo and Diddy need to face consequences. Now things take a wild turn. Whistleblowers like Katt and Terrence started pointing fingers at white celebrities who've gone quiet.
When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire.
Elon Musk even reposted a tweet calling out Ellen DeGeneres for leaving the country right after Diddy's drama broke. Ellen's not just lying low, she's gone. New photos show her at a quiet pub in England, rocking a new look, new hair, new vibe. She says she moved to escape America's chaos, but people aren't buying it. They think she's running. Ellen and Diddy were tight. She had him on her show constantly, joking about parties.
Yeah, no, it's great. So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
That's a different type of party.
Uh-huh.
It'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. And then it will carry on there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean the after party.
Mm-hmm. No, I know about them.
Back in 2016, she tweeted him, "Happy birthday, Cuddle McNuggle stuff," and said, "Y'all don't need to know why." But now people want to know exactly why. Right after Joe Rogan laid it all out, Katt Williams jumped in, cranking up the heat. For years, folks brushed Katt off like he was just talking wild, but now it's looking like he was onto something all along. Katt didn't hold back, saying,
"All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is."
Leonardo DiCaprio's name came up too. The second this story started unraveling, Leo hopped a plane to Italy, claiming it was a vacation with his new girlfriend. The timing, too perfect. Old photos from Diddy's East Hampton spot in '98 resurfaced, showing Leo just hanging out. Now people are digging into how deep Leo and Diddy's bond really went. Word is they were thick in the 2000s, with Diddy calling Leo his top invite to those infamous white parties.
But who's the person that's #1 on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And I can get on that list,
Yes,
right?
without a doubt, you are invited.
That is so generous of you. Cheers to that.
See you at the white party, and happy holidays to you and yours.
Suddenly, Leo's team's out here saying they haven't talked in years. Terrence Howard dropped a bomb on the PBD podcast, turning this whole thing up a notch. He didn't beat around the bush, he got real. According to Terrence, Diddy came at him under the guise of a business deal. At first, it seemed like Diddy wanted acting tips, then it shifted to music studio visits. But it wasn't about work, it was about getting too close. Terrence's assistant had to spell it out.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication.
Terrence cut contact, shut it down, and backed off fast. But he said Diddy wasn't alone. Other producers pulled the same moves. There's a pattern.
Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing. And
he said that's what happened to a lot of these so-called stars. Katt backed every word, explaining how he turned down $50 million 4 times to keep his integrity. When he talked about protecting his virgin hole, he wasn't joking.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right.
Then the conversation looped back to something people have whispered about for years. The dress agenda. The idea that Hollywood pushes black men into feminine roles to climb the ladder. Katt, Terrence, and Dave Chappelle have been calling it out forever. Terrence said that's why he got booted from Iron Man 2. Not over money, but because he wouldn't wear a dress or play a watered-down version of himself. Katt had a similar run-in. He said Martin Lawrence tried to get him in a dress for Big Mama's House 2.
Martin tried to put me in my first dress. We get in that office and this fool pull out Big Mama's House 2. I almost died. And I gotta read this script from all these good white people, where this want me to get in a dress with him. And I'm literally saying to everybody, why is he in a dress again? You already played the old lady as an FBI agent. We can play anything now. We can be playing a dog catcher this time. Why do we need to be in a dress? And I get so mad, I say, you don't want me. You want Brandon T. Jackson. And that's who they went and got.
As we head toward Diddy's May 2025 trial, it feels like a ticking clock. What's your take on this mess? Drop your thoughts below. We're watching it unfold. If you're here for unfiltered truth and bold takes, smash that like, subscribe, and check out the next video popping up on your screen now.